Hey, good morning and Shabbat Shalom to the house of Israel, 12 tribes scattered abroad and believers in Yeshua Messiah. Welcome to Hidden Manna. I'm Pastor Dave, and of course, this is Pastor Matt with me.
Hi, everyone.
It is the Sabbath morning, so Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hope you're enjoying your Sabbath. It's kind of wet and yucky out here today, a little bit cold. So hopefully you got better weather where you're watching from. But we're here. We're back. It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks.
I've been looking forward to this.
But it's good to be back.
It's good to be back. I've been really, really looking forward to this. I know I got a little bit of a tan going on, so you don't have to put the lights down so dark. But listen, you're here. It's Sabbath morning. We're ready for our conversation today. We got an interesting topic for you. But as you know, we don't do this by ourselves. We have another dear brother with us. Where are you, Brother Max? There he is.
Hey, there you are.
Hey, here I am.
Hey, man.
What's up, guys? Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom,
Shalom.
brother. Everything going good there?
Good. It's been a minute, right? We haven't,
Yeah.
It was weird.
It does. It does. It feels
Yeah.
weird. I tell you, it was kind of weird not doing this on Shabbat, and felt like something was missing,
Yep, it's true. And just to let you know, it's not better weather over here, so it's actually
Well, yeah,
worse.
we know if it's yucky here, we know it's even worse by you.
Yeah,
But it was kind of weird. We were in Idaho at a resort, and the first day we were there, it's like 70 in the 70s, 72,
about-
73,
70s,
74. But the elevation is like 3,000 feet above sea
Mhm.
level. So it's warm. We didn't think anything of the sun. It's about a little bit higher, a little bit further north than New York. But we forgot about the elevation, and we got sunburned that day.
Yep.
We didn't realize it, how powerful, because you're up so high. So it's
Yeah.
74 the first day. We're thinking, oh great, this is going to be a great week. It's what, 54?
It's around the second day, 54 degrees.
54 degrees the next day. Boy, we played from spring to summer to fall to winter there.
Yeah, it was
But
crazy.
we had a good time.
Yeah, I know. I saw you guys wearing them jackets, man.
Yeah, it got a little cold, a little windy,
got a
but
little
it was
chilly.
fun. It was definitely fun. It was relaxing. We definitely had a good time. So, but it is good to be back, and
Right.
for everybody
Shabbat Shalom,
that's
everyone at home.
yeah, for everybody that's joining us, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much. We're gonna also, don't forget, guys, as we do this today, we're gonna give a couple of minutes at the end of the study. So if you've got questions as we go through this, we're gonna try to save like maybe the last 5, maybe even 10 minutes to maybe address those questions. So don't forget to get in on the chat and let us know where you're watching from. And then if you have a question, go ahead and type that down. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, to share that.
Yeah.
Smash that like button.
Smash
Smash
that
it.
like button. That's right.
And if you guys have noticed in the last couple of streams that we have done, we've actually added some stuff on the bottom of the stream, like a connect form, events. If you guys want to know what's going on at the church, that's a great way under the description of every video that we do stream now. If you want to contact us, you guys need prayer requests, you guys got praise reports, please send it to us. We want to be able to connect with you guys, not just through the live stream, but also through emails and even text messages as well.
Good. I think that's all the commercials.
That
right?
is everything.
All the commercials.
That's
You want to sell something? I don't have my Manna cup.
I got this cup today.
Oh, there you go.
So
I
We're gonna open up a coffee store. I always wanted to open up a coffee thing in the church
call
called
it
Hebrews.
Yeah, there you
right?
go. I think I've seen a
think
church
my
do
Oh,
that
there he
before.
goes. Max
better.
got his.
Hey, there you go.
It tastes better coming from this cup.
It tastes better.
I don't know, man.
You know, it was so funny. I saw this bottle of water where we were, and there was a smart water, and then there was this water that said oxygenated water. Like
Yeah.
it's better for you. I'm looking at that.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying, oh my, wait, it's H2O.
It already has it.
Whoa.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, it has 2 oxygen molecules. That's it. You can't add oxygen.
Yeah, that's
to
a marketing.
water.
That's a marketing scheme, guys. Don't
That's-
do it.
That's
Smart people out there trying to
Yeah,
just
and-
market.
I'm
And they
sure.
probably fell for
Oh
it too.
yeah, you kidding me? People
Oh, yeah.
fell for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make mention of something else that's really serious, though, before we jump into today's study or today's conversation. What's been going on in Israel? Because we've been away for a couple of weeks, so
Yeah.
what's been going on in Israel? It's and not just in Israel. What's been going on around the world with
Yeah.
the anti-Semitism?
Yeah.
It is at a scale that, boy, we haven't seen since World War II. Right?
Yeah.
Actually, in our lifetimes, we haven't seen it. Not like this.
Mm.
I mean, from
Yeah.
the UN to nation states all over the world, just the anti-Semitism, the hatred of the Jewish people
Did
is
you
coming
catch
out.
that video I sent you? I know we're going a little bit off topic, but with
That's
John
all right.
Voight.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, standing up for our brother
Powerful.
Jew. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
Wow.
Our Jewish
powerful.
brothers. It was amazing.
And that this whole Hamas throwing, people are saying, is this prophetic? Does this tell us Yeshua is coming? No, this is wars and rumors of wars. Judah is important. There's no doubt that Judah is important. But remember what Yeshua said. It's not about the worship in Jerusalem anymore. It never said that there wouldn't be Jews in Jerusalem. Never said that there wouldn't be Judah, the nation in Jerusalem. It said that it'd be trampled by Gentiles until Messiah comes. There will be no more worship there. There will be no more temple there. So the things that are going on listen, there's a hatred of the Jews, and probably, really, it's a spiritual issue because they were the keepers of the Torah.
Yeah.
Satan wants that gone.
Yeah.
And so, understand that. But is that I know there's prophecy teachers out there who are going to say, well, this is the sign, we're right there. Hey, I think we're there anyway. I think we're very, very close for a whole bunch of different reasons. We've been there for a while. But is this it? I think it's going to get it's got to get much, much worse. It says, Messiah says there's going to be fighting. There's going to be nation against nation when he comes. Why do the nations rage? The wonderful song you wrote out of Psalm 2. Why do the nations rage and imagine a vain thing?
Yeah.
So don't be surprised that it's all going on, but it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And give a prayer for our brother Judah, because I haven't seen it in New York they're doing it, in Paris.
Yeah, and I think this
London.
is one of the first times that even openly in our government, speaking against Israel.
Yes, yeah. Many of the Democrats are just totally hostile to the only democracy there, the only really free nation that's there. And we're not speaking of it in a spiritual sense, but just in a political sense.
Yeah.
They need our prayer. So lift up Judah. Okay. So with that, what we want to talk about today, and I thought it'd be interesting because we've gotten a couple of questions about this over the last couple of weeks, maybe even longer than that. People have asked some questions about what I would call doubtful things. And that's really kind of the title for today. It's called Doubtful Things. And it comes right out of Romans chapter 14. And though I'm doing a study on Wednesday of Romans, we're going to jump ahead just a little bit to talk about this.
A little sneak peek.
Yeah, just a little sneak peek. Romans chapter 14, and it's really verses 1 through 12. So I'm gonna read through it, and then we'll kind of jump into it and go from there. So if you want to pop that up, there we go. Let me put that down a little bit. Okay, so this is Romans. I said Romans 12. This is Romans 14, and if you have like one of those subtitles on your Bible, it may say something like the law of liberty or freedom or something like that. Here's what it says, and we're reading out of the Scriptures version. And receive him who is weak in the belief, in the faith, not criticizing his thoughts. One indeed believes to eat all food, but he who is weak eats only vegetables. He that eats, let him not despise him who does not eat, and he that does not eat, let him not judge him who eats. Elohim received him. Who are you that judges another servant? To his own master he stands or falls. But he shall be made to stand, for Elohim is able to make him stand. One indeed judges one day above another. Another judges every day alike. Let each one be completely persuaded in his own mind. He who minds the day minds it to Yehovah. And he who does not mind the day, to Yehovah he does not mind it. He who eats, eats to Yehovah, for he gives Elohim thanks. And he who does not eat, to Yehovah he does not eat, and gives Elohim thanks. For not one of us lives to himself, and not one of us dies to himself. For both, if we live unto the Master, and if we die unto the Master. Therefore, whether we live or die, we are the Master's. For unto this Messiah died and rose and lived again to rule over both the dead and the living. But why do you judge your brother? Or why do you despise your brother? For we shall stand before the judgment seat of Messiah. For it has been written, As I live, says Yehovah, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess Elohim. Each one of us, therefore, shall give account of himself to Elohim. Okay, lot of stuff in that verse, and we're obviously not going to be able to talk about all of it. Again, we'll deal with this in Romans when we get there. But we can get to it. Pop us up.
Takes a couple seconds.
Okay, so lot of stuff there, but I want you to notice that first verse, and we're not going to put it out on screen, but the first verse, and I'm going to read out of King James, just the first verse. Receive one who is weak in the faith, but not to disputes over doubtful things. So he's talking about, and there's things that there is no direct commandment of prohibition. Listen, culture has changed, time has changed. We do things now that they never even thought of. The first century or whatever century we're talking about, the commandments are written in. And so how do we then take what we know of Torah and then apply it to these things? And sometimes they're doubtful things. What do you do? How do you do it? Is there, should we be doing something? Should we not be doing something? And things, of course, like birthdays, 4th of July, Mother's Day, Father's Day. These are questions that people have asked. What should we be doing? Can we be involved in those things? Are they worship, or are they pagan? Should we not be taking the holy and mixing it with the profane? And I think chapter 14 of Romans gives us at least a beginning thought to try to tackle this conversation today. Okay. I want to give everybody that's watching some at least some direction as to what you should do when you have a doubtful issue, when you're not really sure, should I do this? Should I be involved in this? Should I not be involved in this? Let's try to give them some conversation and maybe some direction as to how to deal with those things. Now, let's say this right up front. The issue of Romans 14 is food. It's actually food and fasting. Right. So when it says one man honors one day and honors it to Yehovah, and another honors another day, they are not talking about Sabbath, because this is the way much of the modern religion has taken it. Yeah. Right. They look at this verse and they say, well, the law of liberty, the law of freedom means we don't have to keep Sabbath. We can make any day a Sabbath. That's a false Shema. That's what Rome did. That's the whole the Nicene Creed, to change the Sabbath. That is not what this is talking about. What it's talking about is fasting days. You remember when John the Baptist's disciples speak to Yeshua and they say, why do our disciples fast? And I'm adding this in, but what they're saying is, why do we fast Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays? And you guys don't, and even the Pharisees fast Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but your disciples aren't fasting. Now, obviously, I'm adding Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but I'm trying to give some context here.
Yeah, I think that's still a dispute. People, it's a Wednesday or a Friday, in a lot of circles. So
yeah, so that's the issue, and so remember, Paul is saying these are doubtful. These are things that people that were coming into the faith and wondering, well, what do I do? Judaism's telling me, or people that have come from Judaism that are in their congregation are saying, well, no, Monday needs to be a holy day. Wednesday needs to be a holy day. Friday needs to be a holy day. And on Monday, you don't eat this. On Tuesday, you do eat this. And that's the issue of the food. One eats vegetables. One doesn't eat meat. He's doubtful of it, so he just eats vegetables. And so the principle is important, but the context is food and fasting days, not worship days. You listen, you can worship Monday, Tuesday. You're supposed to worship Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think maybe that's a topic we got to pick up one day. What actually is worship?
Yeah.
Right? Because we think worship means going to a place to gather all
Corporately.
together
Yeah.
and have song.
Mm-hmm. That's
And,
right.
and I guess
I
that is
guess
worship.
a piece of that is, but there's something more to it.
Yes.
That's just the surface of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think the
Well,
word worship means to give worth
reading God's
to.
scriptures is a form of worship. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
you know.
I mean,
We're-
David did it all the time, and that was his worship.
Not to take away from song, not to take away
Yeah.
from gathering. We are supposed to do that, but you know that's not the only definition. It is to give value to our God.
Mm-hmm.
That's what worship is really the word worthship, to give value to.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's supposed to be done every single day. But the issue here was that, you know, they had picked certain days. So
Yeah, and that's the whole constitution of the Shema. You know, it's as you wake up, as you walk, as
very
you lie
good.
down.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very good example. Right. It's a daily thing. And so when the Sabbath comes in, the Sabbath is actually supposed to be a day of rest. It's
right.
something made for you, for you to take it easy, to relax. The idea of gathering on the Sabbath for corporate worship was not practiced for the first 1,400 years from the beginning of the Torah all the way up to Babylon.
Yeah.
That
You
was
had a
not
good
done.
brother in your church last week that got baptized who said that.
Oh, yeah.
Remember his
Oh
testimony?
yeah, that's right, Chris, your brother
Yeah.
Chris. Yeah. So that's important to know. Did King David go on the Sabbath to corporate worship? There's no commandment that says that. There's no instruct. Now it says to have a what is the word?
Convocation.
A holy convocation. But that doesn't mean to get together for a corporate. It means to have a time with the Lord. You're
It
supposed
actually means dress rehearsal too.
a dress
Yes.
rehearsal. Yes.
Yeah.
And what are we dress rehearsing for? The rest to come.
Yeah.
The great Sabbath to come. Now, does that mean that gathering on the Sabbath is a bad thing once they started it? Absolutely not. That's a great thing. That's what kept Judah together in Babylon. It was Yeshua's tradition. It was what was going on in the first century. So it's important at least to really understand what the commandment says and to have some guidance on some of these, you know, questionable things. So worship every day.
Yep.
Sabbath, something different.
Amen.
Okay. So with all of that said, there are some things to which we experience here in the 21st century that we do as 21st century people that were either not directly spoken to or they're spoken to, but you got to understand the mind of Messiah to understand it, such as I said before, holidays. And people ask us, you know, can I celebrate the different holidays? Now, obviously, if we're talking about Christmas,
Yeah.
we're talking about Easter, Yah's word directly tells us about worship days to other things. And we've got some scriptures for that. Let's actually, and I guess along the lines with that, about worshiping, you know, right out of the commandments, to have no other God before you, no other idol before you, is also, I think, connected with that very often is the issue of food, about making some sort of a covenant in your worship. You're attaching yourself to some other form of worship. And I think Paul makes this same statement or same argument in 1 Corinthians 10, but it comes out of Exodus chapter 34. And let's go there first. Exodus 34 and I think verse 14.
All right. Let's throw this up. All right. There we
Now
go.
here's some solid instruction about what not to do. What we absolutely should not be doing. For you do not bow yourselves to another mighty one. For Yehovah, whose name is jealous, is a jealous El. Lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they whore after their mighty ones, and slaughter to their mighty ones. And one of them invites you, and you eat of his slaughterings. And verse 16 is important too. And you take of his daughters for your sons, and his daughters whore after their mighty ones, and make your sons whore after their mighty ones. So one of the beginning principles, or what this is really talking about, actually this is, I think, a direct, or this has a direct correlation to Baal Peor.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
You know, the whole issue of Baal Peor was exactly this, that
Mm-hmm.
they came, they saw the women, they saw the men, they
Yep.
made offerings, they joined in worship with them to another god. Now, it's either worship to another god, but idolatry is also trying to worship our God with something else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole
Golden calf.
the
Yeah.
whole golden calf issue. So I mean, this is clear. This is direct. So are there worship days that are part of our culture that we should not be part of?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you see verse 16 rings true with Shlomo. Excuse me. Right?
You like that word, right? Shlomo.
Yeah. I know. I can't stop saying it. It's like
No,
one of the Three Stooges.
Yeah, it does, right?
Mm-hmm.
What were their names again?
Mo.
Mo,
Mo.
Larry,
Le-
Curly, and
Yeah.
then there was Shem, and now
Yeah.
there's Shlomo.
And
so
I-
there's four of them.
And I believe they were all Jewish brothers, right? They
Yes,
were all
they
were.
Jewish men.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Shem. That
Come on, Shem.
Yeah, Shem.
That's
Yep.
that's if that
Yeah, can't hide that. I mean,
Oh. Okay, obviously we are Three Stooges fans. So so that's kind of that's clear, that's concise. There's things that we absolutely shouldn't be doing. And I think most everybody now, you know, maybe if you're just starting off in Yah, you know, we've come out of the whole idea of, you know, the winter solstice celebration, the spring equinox
Yeah.
celebration. We've kind of, you know, our eyes have been open to that, to understand that, to come out of that. But this argument continues, or at least this discussion, these commandments in Numbers chapter 25. And
and
Numbers,
this is definitely linked with this is Baal Peor, right? Verse 2.
yeah, verse 2.
put this back up.
This is Baal Peor. Verse 1 says, and let me just highlight it for everybody so you guys can see it. It says, and Yehovah spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, the children of Israel are to camp, each one by his own banner, beside the sign of his father's house. Let them camp around the tent of appointment at a distance. Am I looking at the right? I'm looking at
Is this
Numbers,
I don't
Numbers
think
2.
it's 25.
Yeah, it's numbered. I'm sorry, guys.
We
Still good
forgive
text
you.
though.
Numbers 25, not 2. Here we go. 1 and 2. There we are. And Israel dwelt in Shittim, and the people began to whore with the daughters of Moab. And they invited the people to the slaughterings of their mighty ones, gods,
Mm-hmm.
and the people ate and bowed down to their mighty ones. So the literal commandment is not to worship other gods. That's idolatry.
Mm-hmm.
The commandment tells us our God is a jealous God. He's a jealous El. Worship only shall you worship, to give worth to. Paul
Mhm.
makes the same argument then in also in 1 Corinthians.
And I just want to note too, real fast,
Yeah,
that
brother. Go ahead.
in Revelation chapter 2:14, it gives a direct reference right to what you just read in Numbers. When it says that they actually bow down to Baal Peor, and ate of the slaughterings.
Right. So, good point. Revelation 2, which is many years after the
Mhm.
writing of Deuteronomy, the issue is still going on.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is that the people of God were being attracted to worship other gods,
Mm-hmm.
doing exactly what Balaam, excuse me, guys, doing exactly what happened at Baal Peor. So
Yeah.
there was
I
no
think
Baal
it's good to
Peor.
note.
Go ahead.
It's good to note too that it wasn't that they ate first. They made a covenant with these people, and they worshiped their gods, and then
Yeah.
ate of their food. And it wasn't just, oh, here's
Yeah.
a burger.
That's a good point. So in if you do that, if we do begin to worship other gods, even though we may think that we're worshiping our God. If you get invited into these things and you do it, you're actually making a covenant, right? You're making a covenant with something else, else that is not Yah, false Shema. But here it is in 1 Corinthians. Shaul is making the same point, chapter 10 and verse 17. I'm going to read verse 16. The cup of blessing which we bless, it is not a sharing in the is it not a sharing of the blood of Messiah? The bread that we break, is it not a sharing in the body of Messiah? Because there is one bread, we who are many, and one body, for we all partake of the one bread. Look at Israel after the flesh, and not those who eat of the slaughterings and share. Are not those who eat of the slaughterings sharers in the slaughtered place? What do I say then? That an idol is of any value, or that which is slaughtered to idols is of any value? No. But what the nations slaughter, they slaughter to demons, and not to Elohim. And I do not wish you to become a sharer with demons. So worship is attached here to food, to this eating of these things, but he tells us really what you're worshiping are demons. That's all right. Of this to say there is direct commandments about us joining in the worship of the nations. And again, probably the best examples of that in our culture today and within the religious world would be Christmas.
Yeah.
Easter. Would be Easter. Would be Ramadan. If you go to a friend's house and they invite you, hey, come on over, for Ramadan, you want to join us? That would be doing that. That would be making a covenant. That would be going into a covenant with a totally different God.
That's right.
Do you know that I read this week the Vatican actually announced, I think it was this week or last week, that they now recognize the Quran as Holy Scripture.
Wow.
It's
dangerous.
Wow. I mean, am I surprised?
No, but it's still shocking to the fact of wow, they said it publicly now. I mean, they probably always did, but once you announce it publicly, especially being the Vatican.
How do you square that circle though? Right?
Yeah.
How do you do that? I guess if you don't know what the word actually says, I guess you could do that, or you don't care what it says, you could do that. But anyway, that just kind of popped into my mind. So, God is very, very clear. What is it? Deuteronomy chapter 5:8. You should have no idols, no gods before me, right? I'm a jealous God, all of that. Here's the problem. Here's the issue. Sometimes I think what we do, or what we're doing, what has always gone on, and what still kind of goes on today, is in these areas of doubtful things. Because what happened in ancient Israel and all the way up to the time of Yeshua, yes, you're not supposed to have any idol. I forgot what chapter it is where Yah says, when you saw me on the mountain, there was no image, image at all. Don't make any image of anything in heaven, on the earth,
under the earth,
right? All of that stuff. So that's a clear-cut instruction. No image of God or anything that relates to him at all. Does that mean you can't have an image of something? Does that mean you can't have a statue, make a statue of a bird or a landscape of a mountain scene or a lake or something like that? A sunset. And yet certainly there are those even today that that are really, you can't do that. I can't have a picture of something. And that's kind of tough in our day and age, because what are we looking at on the screen here? You're looking at an image of three people.
Yeah.
Right? Can't have a painting of a man. Can't have an image. That's not what the commandment means. That's adding to it. The commandment was specifically about using that as a worship to God or to some other God in his place. And I think it's important that we understand that, because it is possible. It's not possible. It's happened already. This is what Pharisaic Judaism did. They took things way out of context and then created burdens on the people that Yah never really intended for us. So there is We need to keep the commandment, know what the commandment says, but be careful. I guess the real word here is don't become Torah police, or what you think Torah is. And that's exactly what Romans 14 says. Don't judge your brother. There are some things that, you gotta use wisdom on, know exactly what the scripture says, and give your brother a little latitude and let him learn, let him grow.
Yeah. And even at the end of the day, like we can all agree, if it still does bother, then don't do it.
Yes,
Exactly.
good
If
point.
it bothers you, yeah.
Good point. Let's take one of these issues that we've gotten some information on: head coverings. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you look around the world of Torah, the world of Hebrew roots, or the Messianic world, whatever phrase you want to use for it, what you see more and more are women wearing some sort of head covering. Right, and it's kind of uniform. It's some sort of a scarf or something like that. If you look in Judaism, I think Hasidic Judaism, the very, very conservative Judaism, the women wear wigs. That's where they took that issue. Now, this actually comes out of 1 Corinthians and chapter 11, so I guess we should probably turn there.
Yep. And just to also mention, while you turn to that, that's why you also see the same custom with Muslim women too.
Yes. So this is a custom. This is definitely a Middle Eastern custom of the day. And it's 1 Corinthians 11. Let me get to it here too. I want to look at it in a couple of different versions. First Corinthians 11, and actually verse 2 is what I want to really highlight for people before we go any further. This whole chapter is about the wearing of a headscarf, or having a woman's head being covered and a man's head being uncovered. Now, again, what we've done with this today, here's the doubtful things, is, you see a lot of the Hebrew roots listen, if you're going to go out and work in the garden, or sure, wear a head covering. I'm not saying you can't wear a head covering, but if you're making that a religious point, I don't see that as a commandment. I don't
there's
see
no backing for that. Yeah.
There's, as a matter of fact, what it actually says. You want to pop this up? Listen very carefully to what Shaul says. Become imitators of me, as I am also of Messiah. And I praise you, brothers, that you remember me in every way and keep the traditions. The traditions as I deliver to you. These aren't commandments. These are traditions. Now, there's good traditions and there's bad traditions.
Yep.
This was a tradition of the first century. And as you said, still is a tradition, or you said still is a tradition in the Middle East. Look all over the Middle East. Women's heads are covered. More so now in Islam. It's not just their hair, it's their whole body, and the whole veil. But any movie you watch of the whole story of the gospel, or anything Middle Eastern from about Israel in the 1st and 2nd century, all the women are wearing some sort of a head covering. That was the culture of that day. The culture of today, what would we say? I guess today, what's the tradition?
I
Handbags.
was thinking pocketbooks, but I don't know how long that goes back. The purse, right?
But I mean, it's a tradition of today, right? You have a pocketbook. You hold on to a pocketbook. You bring a pocketbook, wherever you go. It's not a thing that guys do. It's I guess it does, but
well, it changes over the time.
It changes over cold, but that's another topic for another day. But
it's called a man purse.
A man purse, yes.
Depends what part of New York City you're in.
Yeah. Now, listen, if we're talking about fanny packs, that's something different,
fanny
man.
Packs. It's
I like
back.
my fanny pack.
Listen, it's coming back, but it's called it's put over your shoulder now.
Oh, it's a shoulder.
Yeah.
So
it's basically a fanny pack you put over your shoulder.
It's like an everyday carry bag.
Yeah.
Everything comes back.
like a sling over your shoulder or across your chest.
Yeah, I forgot what they call it.
Really,
But it's pretty much a fanny pack.
I hadn't seen that because
Oh my
I knew you
gosh.
guys used to make fun of me all the time when I wore my fanny pack.
Yours was different.
Mine was cool.
Yours was from when?
It doesn't matter when. It was
We
a
used to
cool.
buy like 3 of them for $10 in the city. in
That's
Brooklyn.
right. That's right.
Oh, those fake ones that rip after like a day.
Yeah, something like
The
that.
zipper breaks off.
The zipper breaks. Yeah.
All right, so we're talking about traditions here. So let's try to answer this issue about head coverings. He says, and I wish you to know that the head of every man is Messiah, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Messiah is Elohim. And I know all the social justice warriors out there are going to get all upset, and, you know, this is male chauvinistic, white supremacy, all the rest of this stuff that goes on.
Mhm.
No, he's giving us an order of responsibility here.
Yep.
An order
Yep.
before Yah. That's it. And every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, brings shame to his head. Now, let's ask why.
Mm-hmm.
Why would that be? Of course, now today in our culture, when let's say we pray, if you're wearing a hat, really should you do? Most men would take their cap off.
Yep.
When you when you go to a baseball game and the national anthem
Yeah.
plays,
Take the hat off.
what do most men do? They take the head off. It's a sign of respect, right?
Mhm.
But I'm not sure that that's really what's going on here. But he's saying, really what he's saying is a man should not look like a woman,
Mhm.
because he's going to go on to say, and everyone praying with his head uncovered brings shame to, and every woman praying or prophesying with her head uncovered brings shame to her head. For that is one and the same as if her head were shaved. So if a woman shaves her head, what does
Mhm.
she look like?
Yeah, man.
A man.
That's right.
And so this has to do with, presenting yourself in a masculine way or in a feminine way, which goes right back to Torah, right back to Leviticus 19. A man shall not dress like a woman, or a woman dress like a man.
Woman. Yeah.
Verse 7, for a man indeed should not cover his head, since he is in the likeness and esteem of Elohim, but a woman in the esteem of man. For man is not from woman, but woman from man. For man also was not created for the woman, but woman for the man. Again, more social justice warrior stuff to anger people.
Yeah.
But anyway, because of this, the woman ought to have authority on her head because of the messengers. And it's speaking of angels. This probably goes back to, what's that book? Enoch. But another story, another day.
I think 15 hits it right in the sweet spot, right? 15.
All right. Let's go all the way down to 15. And if a woman has long, so he goes right into the whole issue of where this really comes from. Okay, verse 14 and 15.
Yeah.
Does not nature itself teach you that if a man indeed has long hair, it is a disrespect to him? And if a woman has long hair, it is an esteem to her, because the long hair has been given to her over against a veil. If, however, anyone seems to be contentious, we do not have such a habit, nor do the assemblies of Elohim. This is a tradition.
Mm-hmm.
This is a first century tradition that you would know down the street as people are walking to you who was male and who was female, because the women had their heads covered.
Mm-hmm.
The men did not. That's all. Now, when we take this to its extreme, which again is the whole issue of doubtful things, we get what we have today. The people saying this is what you must do.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you need to be a Hebrew roots person.
Mm-hmm.
And
laying a burden on some people,
Yeah, and that lays a burden. So here's one doubtful issue. Here's the question. Do women need to pray with their heads covered today? This is a tradition.
Yeah.
Should women look like women?
Yes.
Yes. Should women look like men? No. That's the context of what's being said
And men
here.
should not look like women.
Which, I mean, look at where our culture is today,
Totally opposite.
Opposite.
right?
Woe to those who call good evil and evil good.
Yeah.
It is totally defying this biblical principle. You know, it's that whole idea of Yah giving us over, of Romans chapter 2. You know, he gave us over, and we're doing what we want. This is rebellion. What we see in our culture today is rebellion against what Yah has given to us, male and female.
Yeah.
No
Why
matter-
do you
no
think
matter
it's
what
such a
you
big
call it.
issue in the schools? They hit it now when our kids are in kindergarten. You know, they're trying to literally go against his Torah by teaching them, no, it's okay, be who you are, dress however you want, you know.
And you know what this addresses, that we tell children today, or that we're telling them with all of this moving from gender to gender, is that God made a mistake when He made you,
Yeah. Yep.
right?
Yep.
I'm something. I feel like I'm something
Yeah.
else, and indirectly, what you're saying is God was wrong. He
Right.
he didn't make you right.
Well,
You know,
he didn't do it wrong.
somehow, somewhere, things got messed up. That's in direct rebellion to God. He knew us in the womb.
Yep.
He
That's right.
knew who we are. He either hopefully He's chosen us. He's definitely called us, and so it's in direct rebellion. So on the issue of should women wear veils, can you?
If you want.
Sure.
Why not?
Sure, is that there's no commandment against it, and that's the important thing. Should then we judge people? Then should we become sort of that the Torah police and say this is what you must do, this is what a woman must look like? Yeah, I think then we're taking it way too far. What about holidays?
Because we need to judge in righteousness, right? It says, so if it's not a commandment, you know, it's not an issue. It shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't bother us.
Yeah, and which is exactly what Romans 14 says. Each one of us will stand before Yah. Remember, the keeping of the commandments is not the issue of whether you've been justified. It's going to be the issue of rewards.
Yeah.
But we treat it as the issue of being justified.
We can just really briefly just say, if you feel that Yah has given you a personal, command, just like He gave Samson's mother. It's not against Torah to drink, but He told her not to drink, Samson, because they were not, Nazarene, so Nazarite vow. So, yeah, the specific instructions that Yah can give people, but if it's not in the Torah, I wouldn't sweat it. If you want to do it, you do it. As far as a headband, head covering. Remember, when I, specify that, don't do whatever you want to do. But as far as wearing a head covering, then do it,
Yeah, so don't forget, guys, for everybody that's watching, we're talking about doubtful things. We're not talking about straightforward commandments that tell us do this or don't do that. We're talking about traditions. We're talking about things that have changed over time in our culture. So, yeah, there are things that, listen, if Yah's convicting you and saying, don't do this or to do this, don't do it. Drinking's a great example of that. Like you said, with Samson's mother, don't let him have any wine, any alcohol at all. That's not a commandment. Not a commandment to all of us.
For everyone, yeah.
As a matter of fact,
all of Israel.
I can point to commandments where it says to do that, to drink, to celebrate, and then it can point to other commandments where it says the priest should not do that when they're going to worship in the temple, when they're going to serve Nadab and Abihu. That's the reason those guys got killed to begin with, right?
Yeah.
That's what they were
Strange
doing.
Fire, yeah.
You've got Paul saying in I guess it's in Ephesians, do not be drunk with wine which is in excess. He's saying don't be drunk, but he's talking about the worship of Dionysus and the whole.
So at the same time, he tells Timothy to drink wine.
Drink a little wine.
It's good.
So, you have to be able to sort of, I use this word, rightly divide to really understand what it actually says. Another doubtful thing. What about like 4th of July?
Yeah.
Is that something that, because people ask us all the time, should I do 4th of July? Should we be involved?
Our culture
in 4th of July?
celebrates it.
Is that a pagan holiday? Is that something pagan.
It doesn't go in any way against Yah's word. It's not putting another god before him. It's really just having some pride in the country that we're honestly blessed to live in. I mean, I can think of many other countries that I'm not talking about government-wise, but as right now, as far as our country is concerned,
Yeah.
I'd still rather live here than anywhere else, you know?
Yeah, I saw a video of a gentleman from Cuba. He had to be maybe 25, 30 years old, and they showed supermarkets in Cuba. They're empty.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got like people are standing online for hours for just. You remember how it was in the beginning of COVID?
Yep.
Yeah.
People just on lines. But these stores already had nothing. And they showed him in the stores, and it was depressing, and whatever stuff they do have is, very, very limited. And then he made his first trip to the United States. I guess he got a visa to come and visit family, and his family took him to. They didn't even take him to like a Costco or BJ's. They took him to a regular supermarket.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was overwhelmed.
Wow.
He could not believe how much food there was in that grocery store. And that there's multiple grocery stores all over the place. So are we blessed in this nation? Oh my goodness, yes.
They're taking him to Golden Corral, man. That would have been a crazy experience.
Golden Corral.
Man.
Chinese buffet.
Yeah, there you go. Man, you'll be speechless even more.
I'm getting hungry now.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about food now. I forgot. Where were we? Okay, so
holidays.
4th of July. It's a national holiday. It's a day of the recognition of the birth of our nation, even though they're trying to tell us now this whole 16-something project, phooey, on all of that.
We're going to change the date soon.
It's crazy. But put that aside. Should we be? Can we celebrate that? In my mind, I go back to the book of Daniel. Right?
Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Of course, that's not their names, right? That's their Babylonian names. We're going to pick up that study one day. But Mishael, Azariah, and Hananiah, they're leaders in. Well, actually, they're learning to be magi at the time.
Yeah.
But after Nebuchadnezzar has this dream and Daniel interprets it, eventually, we don't know what the time difference is between the actual dream and the making of the statue. Who knows? It could be years in between. But a national day is called, right? It's a day for Babylon. These 3 Hebrew boys have to show up, and they do, right? They're there. People could say, "Oh yeah, but look what happened. They shouldn't have been there." No, they had to be there. That was the nation that they were in.
Yeah.
Where they draw the line, though, is when that national day became a day of worship.
That's right.
When it became worship, then they stood on the commandment and literally stood on the commandment.
That's right.
They stood up. And, of course, persecution comes out of it. That's a big prophecy that we'll deal with another day. But to me, that's kind of guidance for me when it comes to.
Well, that's even like this. It's Memorial Day weekend right now.
Yeah, there you go. Right here we are, Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day, by the way.
Yep.
Thank the Lord for all of those men and women that have served in the armed services, be it Coast Guard, Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines.
That laid down their lives for their brothers. Yeah.
Yep. That have given the ultimate sacrifice. We are grateful. So just a happy Memorial Day to everybody, and a thank you to all of our veterans out there. So with that, again, this is one of those doubtful things, because people are like, well, no, I can't do that. We shouldn't do that. I think we can.
Yeah.
I think we can. I think we should, unless it becomes a day of worship.
Yep.
That's right.
Unless we begin to worship some other god, which 4th of July is a day of illegal fireworks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hot dogs.
Depends where you live. We had in our county we were allowed to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, you know
well,
what?
actually, technically, we're allowed to over here. somewhat.
Well, I don't know if technically is the
I
right
don't know, maybe
word
not
for that.
But I don't know. Last year was pretty
Sure, there
great.
wasn't gunshots going off.
I don't know.
4th of July here is pretty impressive. It's pretty for a place where it's illegal to have fireworks. It's pretty darn
Actually,
impressive.
you guys did send me a little a text last year and showed me a clip from down your street. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like watching Macy's.
Yeah, it was.
fireworks.
Nah, Macy's had nothing.
They had nothing on what goes on in our block.
No.
Yeah.
So is that something that we should be weary of? My suggestion to people would be no. But again, let's be fair to what we learned in Romans 14. If you really have a problem with that,
Mm-hmm.
then don't do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then don't do it. But don't judge your brother.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's a big one.
All right. So all right. So that's 4th of July. This is a big one. I just heard about this one recently. Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Yeah.
People asked, what do you do with that? Do you celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day? Now, little background on this. In history, have there been days of worship called a Mother's Day? Yeah. Egypt did it.
Yeah.
The Greeks did it. They worshipped, I think, Sybil. What's the earth?
Oh, Mother Earth. What's her name?
I can't think of the
Earth
name.
Day?
Gaia?
Gaia. Yeah, they used to have it
Gaia.
on that
Yeah.
Planet Earth cartoon. Remember that?
That's right. Well,
Oh,
that was
Captain
that's
Planet. Whatever his
Captain
name
Planet, yeah, with the
Captain
whole
Planet.
rings and stuff.
Yeah, that was a push for Earth Day. The worship of Gaia, and then I think in the Vatican they just had, excuse me, some crazy thing of worship of some Amazonian mother goddess or something just recently, where they had the statues, and the whole Vatican, the cardinals are out there and the Pope's out there, and they got these statues and these people walking around doing their pagan dance to it, and Catholicism's like okay with it. But 3 people that night stole the statues and threw them in the river.
That's funny.
Wow.
That's funny.
It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I thought it was funny. But so yeah, in history, has that been done? As a matter of fact, the church, the Catholic Church, during Lent, made a day called the Day of the Mother, but they were referring to Mary and to the Mother Church.
Yeah.
We are not the Mother Church, right? So that's something totally different. But they did it, and so this became part of early Christendom. But it was that's a religious ceremony. They're doing it during Lent. They're worshiping Mary, or Sybil, or Gaia, or whatever other thing there is.
Yeah.
Eventually, in the United States, there was no Mother's Day until I think I have the date here.
1903, I think.
Was it 1803? Yeah, something like that.
1903.
1903.
Wow.
Yeah, 1903. 1907, actually.
07. Okay.
Yeah, 1907. A woman named Anna Jarvis pushed it in her community. Excuse me. As a
It's
memorial.
that pollen, man. I'm telling you.
I know. I need my morning manna cup. Excuse me. With my morning manna coffee. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Her mom died, and on the anniversary of her mom, she wanted her community, thinking that, and it was true, children, when they grow up, did not honor their parents, kind of still goes on today. She started this, and it caught on from state to state to state, and eventually became a national holiday. Today we call it Mother's Day. So here's the question, and here's the thing that we've got to sort out for ourselves. Is this a day of worship? Is Mother's Day a day? If Mother's Day is a day of worship, then I would say absolutely not. Is it a day of worship, though? I mean, we honor our moms on Mother's Day. We don't make a huge deal out of it. We give them a rose, a flower. We say we love you, Mom. We say a prayer for our moms.
Yeah.
I'm talking about if we have a service or something, we'll honor them. We don't pray to them. We certainly don't pray to, we don't put Mary in that position. We don't honor Mother Church. We're not honoring Sybil. We're not honoring Gaia. It's literally just telling mom, we love you.
Yeah.
Now, if deep down you feel that's wrong, then just like what we just said before, then don't do it.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, in my heart, I don't have an issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, oh, maybe you guys feel differently about that. You can, voice your own opinions.
No, I believe it. It's okay. I mean, and I don't think we need a day to tell us that, but
Yeah.
I
It
still
should
don't
be a
think
lot
that
more
there's.
than that. Yeah.
I think
But there's no
someone wrote.
reason, not to. We love our brothers. We love each other, and I think it's always nice to lift up someone else other than yourself. Paul tells us, right? If I to lift up, you can boast on someone else, but not, don't puff up yourself.
Mm.
But you can puff up someone else that you love and tell them they're doing a great job as a mom or a dad, or So I don't see anything wrong with that either. But again, I agree with you. If it bothers you and you feel like it's something that you shouldn't do, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't.
I don't want to be around you when you tell your
brother.
mom that.
Oh yeah. Oh boy, you're in trouble, man. You don't call your mother on that day, you are in trouble.
Fun
Yeah.
fact, Pastor.
Fun
I think
fact.
someone
And can I?
wrote. I think
I'm
that
sorry,
tradition
Matt, go ahead.
started in Spokane, Washington.
Oh, did it really? Spokane.
Spokane.
Oh wow, of all places.
We were
huh?
just there. That's why. So I was like, wow, that's really interesting.
I know we're running. I'm sorry,
We're good.
I'm overlapping on you guys.
No, go for it.
No, go ahead.
But with time, think about it too. When we first come to Torah, you brought it up before. What are the first things we're stopping? Christmas,
Food.
Easter, all these things that we know.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know what? As a witness to your family, if we start cutting ourselves off from everything,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard, because they're going to think, they're not going to trust anything you say, because now, if it's your birthday or if it's Mother's Day, and there's really nothing that's linked to worship, then we still got to have these times with our family, that we can be a light, and while we're there and show, like, if we want to bring up, with birthdays, I don't think there's anything wrong with a birthday, but I think how we celebrate it in our modern day with blowing out candles and making a wish, no.
Yeah.
I don't. No, that's a no.
I agree with that, because I think when you start getting into the blowing out and making a wish, now you're getting into something spiritual.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because we don't wish for things,
Mhm.
we pray and we ask Yah.
Yeah, and you can
Right.
Google that, just origins of that, just for time's sake, and you'll have a million articles on witchcraft that's where that came from. But to make a cake, whether it's a cake or a dinner, and sit around the table and say, hey, I'm thankful to Yah that you're born today, that you're
Yep.
around. Ecclesiastes 7:1 says that it's better for your day of death than birth, but doesn't say that it's not good, to celebrate your birthday,
Right. There's no commandment. There's no commandment prohibiting it.
Mhm.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's a great point, brother. That's a great point. A great summary, too, of this, that about the whole family and being a witness to your family. You don't want to get to the point where you're just so ostracized from them that you have no witness.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hope is eventually they see your righteousness.
Yeah.
Can't see it if you're never there.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Good point. So we got Mother's Day. We got Father's Day coming up, by the way.
Yeah. I know. I don't know.
Listen.
You know what? I think it bothers me. Maybe I shouldn't do it. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's going
I
to
don't
become
feel that we
Torah
should honor
police.
Father's Day.
I don't feel led.
I feel cheap is what I feel. We got any questions? I wanted to give a...
We still got a few minutes. We can go a little bit over. We saw that countdown for the first 5. So, I don't see anything besides Kingdom Times. We didn't visit him. I guess he's right around there in Spokane.
That's right. Spud's up there in Washington.
Yeah.
Or is it Oregon? Is he in Washington or Oregon? I'm not
Brother
sure.
Paul.
I think it's.
Yeah,
I
Brother
believe
Paul.
it's Washington.
Is it Washington? You're in, Brother Paul? You can let us know. I forgot which one it is.
No. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the comments now. See if we can see them. But
And tell Brother Paul to leave a comment with his info so we can get in touch.
yeah, but actually, Brother
yeah.
Paul, if you want, fill out the connect form underneath the description, or actually anyone else. You guys are watching this, fill it out.
Yeah, not
Connect
sorry
with
about
us.
that.
So it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We like to make sure we keep in contact with everybody. So, all right. So we've, those are the major holidays, major issues. You know what? Let me just throw this out there real quick. For me, again, this is me.
Yeah.
I'm leery with Valentine's Day.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Hallmark.
It's kind of a Hallmark holiday. It doesn't
Yeah.
really have a religious, except, it's all about, we got these angels that we're putting on cards and all this stuff. So
Even the depiction of Cupid is baby
Is
Tammuz.
Baby Tammuz. Yeah. So
Yeah.
to me, that's starting to, again, this is to me. I'm not, putting this on anybody else, but to me, and Karen and I, we've done this for a long time. This was even before. I just didn't want to get involved in the whole Hallmark holiday thing, spending the money on chocolate that nobody's going to eat.
Nope.
But we'll do something before, or we'll do something after, and you should be doing something with your spouse all the time anyway. So,
Yeah,
but that's me. That's me.
I mean, you don't like spending $500 on 20 roses?
I know. Actually, what? I think Karen would probably rather like the candy than the roses. She'd rather eat the candy, but then it's got to be good candy. It can't be that.
You can tell none of us had breakfast.
I know we're talking about candy and food.
So I don't see any questions, but Brother Bill mentioned a really good thing: honor your father and mother. These holidays are accordance with Torah. You're honoring them.
Yeah,
and 100%.
Yeah, no doubt.
Nothing else. I think everyone seems like connected with them.
Okay, good deal. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the conversation. I know a little bit different today, but these are some questions that we've had that people have sent to us, and so we wanted to try to address these things. Just remember that outline that we had in Romans 14. When it comes to doubtful things, keep the commandment as it's written. There's some they're clear, they're concise, they're pointed. When it comes to worship, you got to be real careful about what you do. But remember that we're 2,000 years past the first century. There are some traditions that we're going to read about in the Berit Hadashah that are not traditions today. And yet the principle of them is still true. Man be a man, woman be a woman. Don't cross that line. So we really got to be able to apply it but be able to understand it correctly in the context to which we live today. So with that, Brother Max, got a last word?
Yep. Torah portion this week is in your going up. Numbers chapter 8. Good Torah portion. Don't forget to read that by yourself or with your family.
Yeah.
Always involve your kids. Teach them as they're young. So when they're older, they will not depart from his Torah. But I love you guys. Shabbat Shalom.
Love you too. And worship every day.
Yep.
In the morning when you get up, as you go through your day, at night when you put your head down. Tell it to your kids. Put it at your doorpost.
Work out our salvation with fear and trembling.
Yep. Good word, brother. Good word. Love you, man. Shabbat Shalom.
Love you guys. Shabbat Shalom, man. Good seeing you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. I know it's kind of a dreary day out there in New York, but we hope that you have a good rest of your Sabbath. Take it easy. Be with family. Be with friends. Have a good time. Enjoy a great meal today with each other. Hopefully you get to do some barbecuing this week. Eat a hot dog, a kosher hot dog, a Hebrew national hot dog maybe.
Nathan's.
An all beef hot dog. Have a hamburger, a cheeseburger. Enjoy this Memorial Day weekend. Again, happy Memorial Day to everybody. Have a great weekend, and thank you again to all of our veterans. Bro, last word for you?
Oh, last word. We kind of touched upon it already. I think Brother Bill said it. Honor your parents. Read. It's part of Torah.
It sure is. It sure is. All right, guys. God bless. Have a great day. Don't forget to join us tomorrow, 10:45 for our weekend service. It's going to be a good time in the Lord, a neat teaching. You'll enjoy it. Until then, guys, God bless and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.